India's External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar is on a visit to Russia. Jaishankar met with his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov in Moscow on Thursday. The leaders held talks on political relationship and reviewed bilateral ties between India and Russia. The visit aims to further strengthen the long-standing and time-tested India-Russia special and privileged strategic partnership. Later in the day, EAM Jaishankar, along with his counterpart, held a joint media briefing. Speaking at the press conference, Jaishankar said that India and Russia have been the steadiest of the major relationships in the world after the Second World War. During the meet, both countries reaffirmed shared ambition to expand bilateral trade in a balanced and sustainable manner.
Between India and Russia have been among the steadiest of the major relationships in the world after the Second World War. We reaffirmed our shared ambition to expand bilateral trade in a balanced and sustainable manner, including by increasing India's exports to Russia. This requires swiftly addressing non-tariff barriers and regulatory impediments, enhancing Indian exports to Russia and sectors like pharmaceuticals, agriculture and textiles will certainly help to correct the current imbalance.
Meanwhile, Russian FM Lavrov said that Russia and India have achieved good results in energy cooperation and Moscow is interested in further joint energy projects with New Delhi.
We have good results in cooperation in the sphere of hydrocarbons and the supply of Russian oil to the Indian market. And we have a mutual interest in implementing joint projects for the extraction of energy resources, including in the Russian Federation, in the Far East and on the Arctic shelf.
На Дальнем Востоке и на Арктическом шельфе.
All right, and we are joined by Anastasia Volodina, RT correspondent. Hi, Anastasia. We understand that External Affairs Minister of India, Dr. S. Jaishankar, and his Russian counterpart, Sergei Lavrov, discussed different issues, some important issues as well, related to defense, related to people-to-people ties. What more details do you have on this that the both leaders discussed? What are the issues to take the bilateral ties to newer heights?
Thank you for having me on the program. And first, of course, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and his Indian counterparts met in Moscow. And just to be precise, in the building right behind me, both Lavrov and Jaishankar praised the strong and flourishing bilateral ties that New Delhi and Moscow have. Lavrov actually underlined during his opening words that the trade turnover between Moscow and New Delhi has increased by 15% in the last year. The two sides, of course, also discussed a wide range of topics, including projects in the field of energy, including the nuclear energy as well, infrastructure, space, transport. And Lavrov emphasized that the two countries will take cooperation to a new and a higher level. But of course, the talks also focused on regional and international agenda, with the Ukraine conflict as the main topic being discussed by both parties. Lavrov stressed that Russia will not drop its demands for real security guarantees, including Ukraine's neutrality and non-alignment with military blocs such as NATO, once again underlining that the root causes of the conflict must be eliminated first and must be addressed as well.
Okay.
He also noted, Sergei Lavrov also noted that Russia and the US are making efforts to actually finally bring peace and stability to the conflict and to world security. But some Western countries are actually trying to prolong the conflict and actually halting the peace process. Indian Foreign Minister Jaishankar, of course, on his behalf, when I asked him personally that question regarding Washington's attitude towards India buying Russian oil and the unprecedented pressure that the US has put on India for India's support of the conflict in Ukraine and for buying energy from Russia. And Indian Foreign Minister Jaishankar stated that India is actually perplexed with the US's logic, underlining that New Delhi actually also buys energy oil from the US as well. So overall, of course, the talks were very fruitful, very productive, and the two countries are clearly set to develop and develop ties and take them to a next and higher level.
All right, the talks were productive and fruitful. That's what our correspondent Anastasia Volodina is saying. Thank you so much, Anastasia. We'll leave it there.